I call this meeting to order, City Council for November the 12th. We shall roll call. Give me roll call first.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes. Okay, first thing on the agenda, we have our presentation, and Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, Your Honor. The Central Missouri Veterans Monument Foundation, made up of veterans, and we appreciate your service, especially as we just leave Veterans Day. But they're looking for a spot, and we think we've identified one, which would be very nice for this project, which is they would like to put a monument in that would honor all of the armed services and the veterans, and they're looking for a nice place to do this, which is kind of tranquil and quiet, and for them in order to be able to do, events and services and so on. And so to kind of give a background on the project, we'll start with Chad Unrutter, Park and Rec Director, and then we have some folks here from the foundation that would also present some information for us.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the past 2 months, I've had the opportunity to work with the Central Missouri Veterans Monument Foundation. Drew kind of brought me into this. He was the person working with them, and then whenever it came to the parks, whenever I got hired, he kind of brought me into this. So I've been working with Raymond and Russell for about the last 2 months, and in your packet, you'll see our some terms and conditions that we're working on, and as far as the proposal over at Teal Lake is with where the property we've identified. There is some responsibilities that the city is going to take on for this project if it does come to fruition. And so kind of with what today or tonight is about getting the blessing from the city on this so they can start proceeding with opportunities to fundraise and bringing this project to life. And so I do have Russell, who is the president, and Raymond, who is the treasurer, is here to answer any questions or fill in anything else that you guys would like to know more about.
Do each one of those pillars represent a different branch of the service? Okay.
Yes, ma'am, they are. There's one for each branch of the service. There'll be 7 monuments. Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, Merchant Marines, and Space Force. Because they just added Space Force, 3 years ago?
We felt it was important to include the Merchant Marine because veterans of the Merchant Marine from World War II are considered veterans, are veterans, and very few veterans' memorials or monuments include their service and sacrifice, and we wanted to include that as part of this. So this is kind of how we currently envision it. 70-foot concrete circle with the stones spaced evenly around it.
The monuments will be 6 foot tall, 3 foot wide, solid black granite, and the emblem of each service will be on the front and the back of each one of them.
What's the flag?
With the flag in the middle.
How's it? I'm just curious.
Right now, we're looking at powder-coated metal and an arch, and after we got the artwork back, I was looking at that, and I thought, we probably need to raise that off the ground.
Yeah.
So, but until you get some visualization, it's hard to see all that.
I believe Fred Jones here in town is going to make the sign for us. It'll be on both sides. I went out and talked to him. Fluid Power is making the flag. I believe it's going to be 8 foot wide and about 4 or 5 foot tall.
Sounds really nice.
Tell me about the space monument you talked about.
Space Force?
Space Force.
That's just another branch of the service now.
Yeah.
I can't tell you anything because I don't know anything. They've only been, 3 years maybe at the most?
They got Star Trek looking uniforms.
Yeah.
And no veterans yet, huh, from there?
Well, probably not.
They're still young enough, they ain't got out yet.
I wondered if the ones that burned in a rocket would be veterans to that.
So some of them were, because some of them were Air Force and Navy and Marine Corps test pilots before entering the astronaut program, but not all of them were veterans, so.
Okay.
Apparently, the Space Force is located in Colorado at the moment, and it's getting moved, where, to DC?
That's Space Command,
Space Command, excuse me.
which is different from the Space Force.
Uh-huh.
And it looks like they're going to be moving to Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, okay.
So
All right, that kind of makes sense. Right.
it's hard, it can be difficult unless you're kind of a nerd, to keep up with all that
A lot of
stuff.
interest in satellite war with that group.
Where exactly is this going to be? You said Teal Lake, but where at Teal Lake?
Go ahead.
It's back here.
Huntington Field Road and Teal Lake Road, that intersection, there's that little triangle piece of grass area there. And we're thinking towards what would be the north end of that, setback towards kind of the apex of that triangle.
So are we going to have like a sidewalk or something from the parking area over there? Is that what we're looking at?
Yes, it'll have to be ADA accessible, so there will be a parking lot that the city will be at, and then a sidewalk that leads up to it.
So as part of our fundraising, I know I've talked with Chris Williams about this, and he has told me in no uncertain terms that we're going to need to raise money for maintenance too. And so we plan to do that, to even after it's constructed, to keep the foundation in place to be able to continue fundraising for any maintenance that's required on the space.
Okay. Anything else, guys?
Looks good.
I think they're just looking for consensus at this point to say, so they can proceed with fundraising and taking this concept as reality.
Easiest yes I've ever said.
I have I'm fine with me, so. Okay, gentlemen,
Start digging.
thank you.
We'll be asking people to take crowbars to their wallets.
Thank you all for coming tonight, and thank you, yeah. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for your presentation, and we'll be looking forward to what you do, how it turns out. Okay, next thing on the agenda is approval of minutes.
Move for passage, or move for approval of October 28th, 2024 minutes.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes. Okay, under new business, we have a slate of resolutions here for improvement of money to different things, organizations. First one is Bill number 2024, item A-68. It's a resolution authorizing the city manager for the agreement with the Mexico Senior Nutrition Center. Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, Your Honor, this is our annual renewal of the agreement with the Mexico Senior Center for the nutrition program. To cover the details, Roger Haynes.
Good evening, council. The attached resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Mexico Senior Nutrition Center to assist in providing services to senior citizens. The 2024-2025 budget allows for the City of Mexico to contribute to the Mexico Senior Nutrition Center the sum of $14,000 to assist in the offset of operational costs related to providing programs, activities, and nutritional luncheons. The city has provided $14,000 annually to assist the Mexico Nutrition Center since fiscal year 2017 and provided prior assistance in the amount of $11,000 annually dating back to 2000. Staff does recommend that the City of Mexico and the Mexico Senior Nutrition Center enter into an agreement and that council proceed with reading by title only and passage of the attached resolution. We do have with us this evening the program's administrator, Ion Bickel, and Betty Ball, the treasurer, and Ion would like the opportunity to address council at the podium to answer any questions and, of course, talk about the program.
I'm with Betty, who's normally not bashful, but tonight she's bashful. So, Mexico Senior Center, as you know, we serve senior meals. I'm losing my voice, so I apologize in advance. We do home-delivered meals, we do congregate meals, and we now do carry-out meals. We not only can serve the meals to seniors now, we can also charge younger people to come and get a meal too if they'd like to. This is helping to support our program even more. We're always looking for new things to do to keep our program going. So right now, just what we're doing for the community is we do Christmas for the Homebound every year. So we're working on that. We collect up donations for our homebound people, and then Mexico Public Safety and Aldrin County Sheriff's Department helps us deliver all these packages to about 100 people total, and the retired teachers help too. We're also working on our Christmas Bazaar. I am very proud of our program. We take care of a lot of people, do a lot of good for the community, I feel. And I hear that about every day from somebody that I really have, that we've helped, been able to help.
How many meals a day do you do?
Well, today was Thanksgiving Day. It's just an average, and I'll tell you, our numbers are down as far as congregate goes right now. Luckily, our curbside meals, which are basically our carry-out meals, are helping out a lot. So, I would say anywhere from some days 60, some days up to 70s, maybe 80 sometimes. Today, we had Thanksgiving meal. We went way over 100. I couldn't even get the paperwork done. The office was so busy, and everybody's so excited about everything. But we had our turkey dinner today, and that's always a big deal. Big people, a lot of people coming in the door. It's a big day for the senior center. So it varies. It varies.
And how about deliveries? How many deliveries do you do a day?
Not a day. We deliver every other week, frozen meals. Yeah, and then we have about 100 people we deliver to, and this is all over Aldrin County. It's not just Mexico. We go to Farber, Benton City, Ladonia, Martinsburg, Thompson, Vandalia, of course. So we stay busy.
You do it every 2 weeks, so how much, is it multiple day foods you're delivering when you deliver?
Yeah, it's 2 boxes, and each box has 7 frozen meals in it.
Okay.
We also give them a thing of powdered milk, they get a thing of apple juice, and a loaf of whole wheat bread. And there's a suggested contribution of $5 per meal, but no seniors ever refuse for lack of funds. We've never had to turn a senior down because they didn't have money, ever.
Good. Okay.
And that goes for all of our programs, not just our homebound.
I can tell you that the homebound meals are very much appreciated, as I've been here over the years and gotten to know people from the senior center, and now they're able, I don't know if someone would eat if they didn't have that. So.
I agree. We have, right now, we've got a couple problem people, a few problem people, that if they didn't have our meals, I don't know what they would do, honestly. Yeah, I've got one lady I have to go over and check. I check her about every month and a half, and Kim from the Help Center, she'll give me food for this lady to make sure she's going to have enough food to eat. So, yeah, and we work with the Help Center a lot of times. Kim's been awesome.
Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you,
You
Chris.
provide a great service to the community.
Thank you all. Thank you for that.
I move for reading of bill number 2024-68.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Bill number 2024-68, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Mexico Senior Nutrition Center to assist in providing services for senior citizens. I move for passage of bill number 2024-68.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank you all too. You don't know how much this means to me and the senior center and the people of Aldrin County. So thank you all very much.
Okay, well, you're welcome.
Glad we can help.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda, it's a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Help Center. This is bill number 2024-69. Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, Your Honor, this is the same as before. This is our annual agreement, in this case with the Help Center, to assist in offsetting their operational costs. Roger Haynes will present.
The attached resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Help Center to assist in the offset of operational costs related to providing services to citizens. The The 2024-2025 budget allows for the City of Mexico to contribute to the Health Center the sum of $7,500 for the use and the offset of operational costs related to providing programs, activities, and services to citizens. The city has provided assistance to the Help Center in 2004, 2009, 2010, and 2011 in the amount of $5,000. In 2012, council approved to increase the level of support to the Help Center to $10,000 based on the need for additional assistance at that time. Council approved the level of funding to return to $5,000 in 2017. Staff recommends council proceed with the reading by title only and passage of the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Help Center. We do have with us this evening Kim Archer, the executive director. She'll be glad to answer any questions, but she asked I just kind of go over some of the highlights of her narrative that was presented to council. Now, on the average, they serve around 700 households per month, with spikes up to 800 during the summer months with kids out of school and home all day. Each month, they distribute 130 senior boxes to assist our elder populations besides their monthly trip to the pantry. And they also, through their benevolence account, provide assistance in photo IDs, driver's license, birth certificate, medication copays, and work boots to start a new job. They also help with clothing and shoes free of charge if indeed there is a need and it is requested. Again, staff recommends council proceed with reading the title only and passage of the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Help Center.
Move for reading of Bill 2024-69.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Bill 2024-69, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Help Center to offset operational costs related to providing services to citizens. Move for passage of Bill 2024-69.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes. Okay, thank you. And another great service provided to the community. Thank you. Okay, moving on, bill number 2024-70, resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Audrain County Historical Society. And Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, this is our annual agreement with the Historical Society and for assistance as well. So, once again, Roger Haynes.
The attached resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Audrain County Historical Society to assist in providing services to citizens. The 2024-25 budget allows for the City of Mexico to contribute to the Audrain County Historical Society the sum of $7,400 for the use in providing programs and activities to citizens. The city has provided assistance to the ACHS in the amount of $4,900 since 2000. Staff recommends that the City of Mexico and the Audrain County Historical Society enter into an agreement and that council proceed with reading by title only and passage of the attached resolution. We do have with us this evening Jennifer Pryor, the Executive Director of the program, and she'd like an opportunity to come to the podium and talk about the programs that they provide and answer any questions.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Pryor, and just so you know, I may not be extremely knowledgeable because I started this position back in June. So still new, still getting adjusted to everything. We're making some new programs. Our first program that we're doing currently is we have an exhibit for all of our veterans, which it's a community project we're doing throughout the museum. We've had a speaker last Friday. We'll have another speaker, a commander from the Navy this Friday, and all of our veterans get to come free, and we offer them lapel pins, the flags, and they get coffee and cookies, and they just get to reminisce and talk, basically teach me about what it was like to serve serve our country, because I am not a veteran, so I love learning from other people. And of course, December we'll be having our annual Christmas dinner, and we're working in conjunction with Presser Performing Arts Center. We're doing a dinner, and then you can also get a theater ticket, and they've given us a price to have premium seating, so you can do dinner and a theater the same night. Or you can stay and listen to our entertainment, which is my family's band, basically. I'll just put it that way. So we'll have that evening. Of course, next year, we're doing Walk Back in Time. That will be in 2025. We are also going to be doing several exhibits. One of our big exhibits will be during Miss Missouri Week. We'll have a big Miss Missouri exhibit going on to try to bring those families into the museum and offer that to the community as well. And of course, History Camp. We have History Camp going on, which is always a sellout. Wonderful program to have. We're also going to start promoting more kids programs so that we can get our kids interested in the history of our community. Activities that they'll be doing within the museum. We're going to have a kids' day. They will also be doing a scavenger hunt to try to find things and get more excited about history and doing a little bit more living history to get them excited to come to our Walk Back in Time. Do you have any questions?
Sounds fun.
I love doing what I'm doing right now. It's so much fun, and there's something new every day. A museum is not boring. It's very fun, exciting. So we're making some changes within the museum as well. And so we'll be changing around some rooms. Hopefully people can come in next year and look at some of our changes that we're making. So I'm excited for that as well.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome. And thank you all very much. We appreciate being able to get a contribution from the city so we can keep our history going, and it helps us with all of our programs as well. So we appreciate it. Thank you all.
Great, thank you. And have a motion on that.
I move the reading of bill number 2024-71. No, 70.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Bill number 2024-70, a resolution authorizing city manager to enter into an agreement with Audrain County Historical Society to assist in providing services to citizens. I move for passage of bill number 2024-70.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes. Okay, next item on the agenda is Bill number 2024-71, and this is an agreement with the Mexico Area Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, Your Honor, this is also an annual agreement with the Chamber, and to have them assist us in marketing activities for the community, and to cover the details, Roger Haynes.
The attached resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Mexico Area Chamber of Commerce to assist in marketing activities in the city of Mexico for budget year 2024-2025. Dana Keller, the executive director, already had a commitment for this evening. She's unable to be here, but I know that she's usually here each year when we do this particular request. The City of Mexico would contribute to the Mexico Area Chamber of Commerce the sum of $13,000 for use in the cost of marketing activities. Staff recommends that the City of Mexico and the Mexico Area Chamber of Commerce enter into an agreement to promote marketing activities, and that council proceed with reading by title only and passage of the attached resolution. I did go back through our records, and we've been making this contribution in excess of 20 years, and they do a nice job of promoting the City of Mexico.
I move to read in bill number 2024-71.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Bill number 2024-71, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Mexico Area Chamber of Commerce to assist in marketing activities for the city of Mexico. I move for passage of bill number 2024-71.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes. Okay, under resolutions, I think this is our last item. Bill number 2024-72. This is a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Navigate Building Solutions. Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, Your Honor. Navigate is a building owner representative firm, and with the idea of potentially looking at location of City Hall to the old Audrain Medical Center Cancer Center unit. They would help us with feasibility, as well as space needs and identifying and site planning so that we can move forward with the next levels to how this would all fit together. To cover the details of the contract, Drew Williford.
Good evening. Excuse me, Council. As Bruce mentioned, this is somewhat of a unique situation in that this company, Navigate Building Solutions out of Brentwood, Missouri, they're not necessarily an engineer or an architect. They operate on our behalf as a representative, somewhat as a middle party, a middleman in the equation of building a large construction project. They have done a number of projects that are very similar to what we're doing throughout the state of Missouri. This all has come about because we're looking at putting out a bid for demolition here, hopefully in December. So we need to begin moving forward with plans. And as far as the plans, when we're looking at demo, we've been looking at ways to cut costs for that demo process. One of those ways is through salvage rights, pretty simple and normal one, but another way is through reuse or recycling of existing facilities. And so it really stands out that the most recent addition to the old Audrain Medical Center, being the cancer wing of that, would make a potentially good city hall and police and fire station. We would certainly have to add on to that to accommodate public safety's needs. But all indications thus far point to it's very feasible. So we were approached by Navigate Building Solutions out of Brentwood, Missouri, and having not done business with them before, we did an extensive check on their resources. They have a remarkable resume. They do this kind of work helping communities throughout Missouri. They have a number of police stations, fire stations, city halls, community centers, and even more. They step in to support the project from a owner representative services standpoint, which again means they're our advocate. I'll use that word. They are the intermediary between sometimes the architect, maybe the civil engineer that's designing site work. It may be the contractor even. And so we checked out their references, and we've had 6 different references from other municipalities all come back stellar. So at this point, we've done an extensive amount of research, talking with people. We asked all 6 essentially the same 5 questions, and in every single case, they felt that they actually earned their keep. So this was a company that actually aided the process and saved them money because they were so good at what they do. So what you have before you is, in essence, the first step of the long process that would be involved in going towards the city hall. We have a master service agreement, which provides the context within which to work, and then we have a task order. And the task order is for $19,215.88, and the work will include a review of the existing city hall and police and fire station, meeting with staff to assess building needs, which is a critical step in all of that process, evaluating the proposed cancer center, developing a program which will serve as the guidepost for the Space and Needs Department, and the development of a block diagram which will help visualize how all the workflows fit together and where they can go in the building, development of a site plan, as Bruce mentioned, and then compiling the project schedule, the estimate, and then a presentation as well. So all of these are things which we feel are very good use of taxpayer funds, very good use of funds to make a project go far more smoothly. The more information you know going into a project, especially a large one, the better off we're going to be. And the city does have, in its 24-25 annual budget, $25,000 allocated for a space and needs study. This will accomplish that goal and far more. And so we would recommend proceeding to enter into contracts with, or I should say, to allow the city manager to sign contract documents with Navigate, Building Solutions out of Brentwood, Missouri, at a cost of $19,215.88. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
I think you said something early on that I totally missed. I must have been thinking I was listening to Carol. Not listening, but Did you say something about demolition starting at a certain time? And what was that timeframe again?
We hope to put the bids out in December, and so add on another 30 days for advertisement, and then probably another 30 days just to get paperwork signed. You're looking at probably a March date of it being actually, you see work on site.
And obviously, that's been discussed with Boone and the county?
Yes.
This seems like a great idea. This is a huge project, definitely the oversight and things. How long do you anticipate having their services available then under this contract?
So that's a very good question. This task order will only cover it for the very initial planning phase. Following task orders would be looked at to evaluate like the next phase of, let's say, interior design of the actual rehabilitation of the cancer center, for example. What is needed there? And then the also design of the new police and fire station. Primarily think about the fire bays that would be needing to be constructed out there. All of that would come with future task orders at different costs based on each scope of work.
So you see these as different tasks then we would probably issue different task orders for.
Yeah, and council would have opportunity to review each and every one of those before it is accepted down the road.
And will part of their evaluation relate to how the fire trucks and so forth get in and out of it? I mean, the streets there are not really wide open.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that will be part of their evaluation?
Yep, the site plan has to incorporate that. That's one of the things we've talked about, and that will be high on the priority list.
Okay, I just didn't hear you say that, so I assumed that, but I hate to assume anything.
Absolutely.
And how this would work in conjunction with Boone Health or not. We got to know that going in.
Good point.
This is our project and our task manager, and they take care of us.
I find it interesting they came up with a price that had 88 cents on the end of it. That's pretty detailed. It wasn't about this much. It was.
That means it was on sale, It's like a Target if it ends in, 94.
If it's less than the next dollar up, it sounds cheaper.
I move for reading of bill number 2024-72.
Sorry.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Bill number 2024-72, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Navigate Building Solutions LLC for owner representative services. I move for passage of bill number 2024-72.
Second.
Miller.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes. Okay, turning the page. Thank you, Drew. Turning the page, we go to other business, and looks like we're buying some stuff. So, Mr. Slagle, under purchase of a mini skidster.
First is we have a staff report for the purchase of a mini skidster for the Parks and Recreation Department. This is a budgeted item to cover the bids and the details. Chad Underwriter.
Good evening, council. Again, the 24-25 annual budget allows for $50,500 for the capital outlay purchase of one model mini skid steer with reinforced rubber tracks for the Parks Department. There is a trade-in of a 2015 Ditch Witch SK750 compact skid steer without the bucket and no emblem. Requests for bids were sent to 12 vendors, and we received 5 bids. Staff recommends that the council approve the purchase of the Ditch Witch SK1050C mini skid steer from Ditch Witch Works of Moberly, Missouri, for the bid price of $32,754.79, subject to the bidder ability to deliver the unit. There is one thing on this. We did not get our stump grinder attachment. We did put out bids on that. We only got one bid back, so we may be bringing something else forward later on. But as far as in the budgeted items, that's why their $50,500 was, because in the capital outlay there was a stump grinder attachment, but we only got one bid back, so we did not carry that bid forward on the attachment. So, but we will be getting the machinery based on your approval.
I move for the purchase of the mini skid steer for the Parks and Recreation Department from Ditch Witch Works, Moberly, Missouri, for $32,754.79.
Thank you. Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes. Okay, our next item is repair work on the Mexico Industrial Rail Spur. Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, this is for the city's rail spur out in the business park. And to cover the details, Drew Williford.
Good evening, council. As you may recall, the city has procured M&K Rail Construction LLC out of St. Genevieve, Missouri, to be its on-call rail contractor. That was approved back in September of 2022. They've been working with us about twice a year to do inspections, to conduct any repairs that may be necessary to the industrial rail spur. It's located on the far more west side of town. We've monitored their work, staff has, engineering has, and we've reviewed their work afterwards, and we find no problems, no red flags thus far. Just to provide a quick overview. So they conducted another inspection on June 3rd of this year, and they did note 4 particular items that were in need of repair. One being at the Lakeview crossing, and that's where the gauge exceeds tolerance gauge would be the width of the track, so to speak. One at the Elmwood crossing where the profile, your vertical, exceeds tolerance. One at the switch, which would be the first switch along the line, which exceeds tolerance. And then the last one being near Brookstone and the curve, reverse cross level, meaning it's a little bit sloped in the wrong direction, you could say, almost super elevated. We've got a total cost for all 4 of those repairs. Some of those are deemed urgent or as soon as possible, but $122,137.35 is the estimate. Staff knew this going into budget season, so we had budgeted $123,000 for this work to proceed. This would cover the repairs, all 4 that I had just outlined along the Mexico Industrial Rail Spur. So we'd recommend that we approve repair work using M&K Rail Construction for the Mexico Industrial Rail Spur at a cost of $122,137.35. Excuse me. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
So I have a question, because I'm confused. Because I thought that we owned the spur that went by Port down to the Zero Copper. But these repairs go all the way out to Elmwood, and on Lakeview. I thought Ozark Railroad owned all of that, and we just own the spur off of that.
So there's actually 2 rails that are going over Lakeview, for example. One is I'll call it the main rail, so the main line that Ozark Valley uses once a week, twice a week, whatever it may be. Then you have the industrial rail spur that splits off of that and goes back to the west, back to Cerro Copper, as you recall. Well, that is the portion that's ours, all the way from the switch, going up to Lakeview, over through Elmwood, and then continuing over past the old Brookstone, past, what is that? Is that Arch and all those, all the way up to Cerro Copper. So we actually own all of that. That is the city's responsibility.
So there's 2 lines that come off of that down through there?
Just one. So you'd have the main industrial rail spur, you have the main line, which would be coming off of the lines that are further north, that go east-west throughout all of town. And that comes down, but then you have a spot where you have a switch. So that switch is a couple hundred feet probably south of Lakeview. And at that switch, our track starts, and it begins to slowly veer off towards the west, and then at that switch and beyond, that's the city's responsibility. And there's one solid track that covers all of that. And all the switches on that track for the individual service lines, while the service lines are not our responsibility, to my understanding, the switches are. And so you've got several switches along that route that are also part of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just trying to put in my head, because Lakeview goes up here, but our rail spur is below Lakeview, so what do we have? But we shouldn't, why are we crossing Lakeview? Because the spur that goes to Zero is below Lakeview, it doesn't go past Lakeview.
Yeah, so it does.
If it does, why do we need that? Because we don't have any other business out there past that spur.
It intersects the main line rail south of there. That's where it starts from. If I had a map, I could pull that up really quick. Do you mind if I snag the mouse to give a quick overview of where it's at? Or is that okay?
I mean, you don't have to, I'm just curious.
In other words, you're saying our rail switch starts south of Lakeview.
Yep, correct.
And it comes up and then crosses.
Crosses Lakeview.
Okay, and we're responsible for some of that.
Yep, and then crosses Elmwood, continues west.
Okay. We don't start right where you see it. It starts on south of there a ways. Okay.
Do I have a motion?
Another thing is how bad does, and I'm all about safety. I want to make sure it's safe. We can walk faster than a lot of these trains travel on those tracks. I mean, how safe does the track really need to be for that? I mean, I understand the crossing part of it because, I mean, I saw kind of what happened there last year, I think, on that, was the Elmwood one crossing kind of went out. I mean, how many people, how often are these used, I guess would be my next, and who's using them?
Very good question. Once to twice a week, Cerro Copper is the only user of these. And to your point, if you recall the Elmwood situation, we actually got a call from the railroad, the snap in half. So we had to go do an emergency repair for that one. That happens a lot of times because of the profile issues that are mentioned in here. Anytime you have a rail that's bending as it's being traversed, that bending is going to cause eventually fatigue and snap like we had. And we know that this rail is not designed for essentially what it's being used for today with the heavier loading. A lot of the base of it is not up to the standard that we now have in place for much of rail that serves Missouri. So it's old rail, old utilities, things like that. Ozark Valley is well aware of that, and they actually operate less than the standard, you could say, in a lot of ways. And they typically will notify us once it gets down to a really bad standard. But we always have that balancing act of, here are the standards, we want to shoot for those from a liability standpoint, because liability with a train is huge. And so we're shooting for that with these repairs. And we know there are other areas, I'm sure, along that track though that need additional repair. It's just a very old track.
I think you touched on my question, but how many, is that only being used twice a week by anybody?
Yeah.
Nobody besides Cerro uses it?
That is correct.
What's our annual cost, if you will, maintenance and all that kind of stuff?
It's growing. So we're going to have that conversation at some point in time. Our train of thought was to wait until after the extension of Smiley Drive was done to have that conversation. We need Sarah's cooperation in the right of way to proceed with that project. And they've been very good to work with. At some point, we've got to have a conversation, though, about how we fund an aged track, because it's just going to continue to get worse if we don't get out ahead of it. Just like any infrastructure, roads are the exact same way. At some point, if you reach a threshold where you've let them go too long, you're actually better off in the long run to remove it or completely replace your road, and then keep it at a high condition from then on. It's actually cheaper if you were to look at the life cycle analysis and not just trying to keep putting Band-Aids on it.
So if it's used approximately 100 times a year, we'll say, we're spending a whole bunch of money per usage time.
If I can say, my time here, I remember when we spent next to nothing on the rail spur, and now it's every year. To what you're saying, it seems like every year the number just keeps adding and adding and adding. And to your point, it's old.
I hope to see some of the bigger priced items drop. But you just can never be sure. From my experience with aged infrastructure, you just never know what will happen sometimes. In an old house, you just never know when that HVAC finally, or the air conditioning finally goes out. And that's kind of where we're at with this. But you hope to see a better outcome on our next inspection. We hope that you're making ground in theory.
Right.
Well, keep us posted. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything you want to add to this? I need a motion or?
I move we offer the contract for $122,137.35 to M&K Rail Construction LLC out of St. Genevieve, Missouri.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Weber,
Begrudgingly, yes.
Briggs.
Yes. Okay. Okay, item C, staff report authorizing the purchase of a 3-lift station cellular alarm system with Municipal Equipment Company. Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, Your Honor. This is for some additional alarm equipment at the lift stations, and to cover the details, Drew Williford.
Council, this is actually the third phase of our rollout for these lift station monitoring systems. And these have actually already saved us quite a bit of time and money. Not only do these systems have an online interface that constantly monitors, so they'll call out our staff immediately recognizing the problem, so we've been able to diagnose a pump problem from the data. So we can provide the data runtime, on and off cycling, and figure out different issues, whether that's us internally diagnosing it or whether that's us sending that data off to, let's say, a Van Devanter Engineering who maintains our pumps. There's a lot of benefit to this system. So we currently have had 2 different projects to install, a total of 6 of these. And roughly, we have 12 active lift stations, I'll call it, I'm not counting the one at the airport or Teva at this point in time. And so what we're proposing as a third project, which would install 3 more lift station, 3 more of these monitoring systems in the collection system. But then when we were scoping this project, we actually found out this could be used at our wastewater plant. And one of the things that we have been battling more than anything at the plant is the aeration blowers. These magnetic blowers, which you may recall, we purchased and had them shipped overseas. I forget exactly where they came from. I should have that for you, and my mind is blanking. But these are very sensitive to power fluctuations, and so we find with any little power fluctuation, those blowers kick off. And that can alter the impact of our permit. So if those blowers stay off for too long, especially with the trickling filter now being off, we find that that can have a deleterious effect on our effluent. So we're looking actually at installing 4 monitoring systems. 3 would be in the collection system, and 1 would be at the wastewater treatment plant. That would bring our total up to 10 at that point in time. So for our budget on this, we budgeted $22,000 for the 3 lift station alarms in the collection system. But we also have a budget of $20,000 for annual maintenance improvements at the wastewater treatment plant. So what we're recommending is to use those 2 funds to cover the proportion cost there, the cost of $19,896.70 for the 3 collection system alarms, and then the $20,000 budget for wastewater annual repairs would come out of these, would be used to cover the $7,207.30 item that would go on our blowers at the wastewater treatment plant. This would be a tremendous increase for our staff in being able to respond, being able to monitor things. We're also using it to track I&I. So at this point, we see it as a very big win. You may be interested to know there is a unit, an annual fee per unit charge, and that's $483 per unit. So we are paying more per year, but with the potential I&I reduction, with the potential of maintenance, cost reduction, all of those things, we definitely view it as worth it here. So we're asking council to proceed to authorize the purchase of 4 monitoring systems for a total of $27,104. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Any questions? Do I have a motion?
I move for the purchase or authorization of purchase for the 3 lift station cellular alarm system with Municipal Equipment Company, or is that $19,896.70?
$27,104.
Where is it?
$27,104.
Oh, $27,104. All right, my fault. There it is.
It's on the bottom.
There you go. I got it.
Okay.
$27,104. Whatever Drew wants. Whatever Drew wants.
Whatever Drew wants.
40,000.
You heard it.
Whatever. Get another one.
I need a second.
Second.
Miller?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Hay?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes. Okay, item D, staff report, purchase of a four-wheel drive pickup. Mr. Slavin.
Yes, this is for the purchase of a pickup for the street department and to cover the bids received. Drew Williford.
Yeah, while you're not doing anything.
Yeah, we are spending a lot of money, but we're trying to get all these things done at the beginning of our year. That way we can not rush admin services and everyone else in all of this. So this particular staff report is for the street department. We've got a 2008 2x4 Chevrolet pickup that's a half-ton pickup with 108,000 miles, roughly speaking, on it. It's time to trade that thing in. It's time to upgrade to what we're speccing out is a 2025 model half-ton regular cab four-wheel drive pickup for the street department. So we placed an ad in the Mexico Ledger and we sent our bid to 7 vendors, and I'm pleased to say we actually had 3 bids on this project. Pearl Motor Company being the low bid, Don Brown Chevrolet out of St. Louis, Missouri, and then Joe Mockins Ford out of Columbia, Missouri. We're the other 2. And you'll notice that the bid from Don Brown Chevrolet and the bid from Pearl Motor Company were very close together. I would call your attention for the bid on Pearl Motor for the $43,788. We're including trade-in there. We'll get to the retractable bed steps in just a second. And then the cost with trade-in with Don Brown, $43,532. So very, very close, $256 difference, less than 0.5% difference there, even though Don Brown would be the theoretical low bid. We have the 5% local vendor policy on there. So we would end up recommending here in just a minute that we purchase this from Pearl Motor Company, a local business. Now, as part of that, I mentioned retractable bed steps. One of the unfortunate things that I found out as part of this is that the new Chevy models don't have a step anymore that for this particular chassis, which is the, so to speak, long bed. It's a work truck. Apparently, all of the single cab long beds like this are becoming work chassis. So they've installed where you get in on the side cabinets and things like that, utility bed on it. So they don't actually have a step to get up on and access items that are in your bed. So we're asking that 2 of those be installed by Pearl Motor Company. We requested a separate quote for that. That quote would have been added on to Don Brown or on to Joe Mockins Ford as well, because we need that step. That's something that our employees use all the time, and just because of the make and model, it's not currently offered. You have to buy a aftermarket step. So our 2024-25 budget does have $50,000 budgeted for the purchase of this vehicle. We estimate delivery to be about 8 to 10 weeks after authorization is provided, so not as bad of a turnaround as I thought. I think things seem to be getting quite a bit better in that regard. So we'd recommend proceeding with purchase from Pearl Motor Company at a total cost, including the trade-in and retractable bed steps, of $44,245 even. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Disappointed they didn't have 88 cents on the end of the bid.
I'm happy Pearl's got it. I'm still, I don't know, I'm still dumbfounded by, where's the threshold for the 5 and 10%?
It's in our comprehensive.
So what's the money threshold for the 5 and 10% of local?
$10,000 or more.
10,000 or more?
If the purchase price or bid is $10,000 or more.
It's 5%? Mm-hmm. So don't we have a 10% one when it gets higher?
Yeah, no, it's actually lower.
So at the lower price?
Mm-hmm. 10% for the lower price.
So why do we lower it as we get higher?
Well, it's being a little hard. Let's say it's a $80,000 purchase, and so that would be, if it were 10%, that'd be $8,000 that you would be awarded to a local business. That's a little harder for the Joe public to accept.
Well, plus we want other people to bid on it too.
We
If they
do.
think
You're right.
the local people are getting a great deal and they don't have an opportunity.
But then you're kind of assuming that, hey, Mockins, what are you bidding? Oh, you're bidding that? Okay, I'm going to put 8,000 on there. I don't think they're doing that.
No, they're not, but we have had a number of them when we get bids that are this close, that they'll say, we're giving you our best bid, but if they give their best bid too, which they have the same kind of pricing, we can't compete, so we're not even going to bid in the future.
And is that also for contractors as well? So if I have a construction project, is there that for contractors? So I've got about $7 million of stormwater projects all being bid right now. You can imagine the setup here. I have one project alone that's estimated close to the $1.7 million range. If we had a 10% match on that, because a person's local, that'd be a lot of money to hand over to a local. It'd be difficult to swallow, I would feel.
I get it, but if a local person's doing it, they probably have local people working that pay local taxes that do all that stuff, so that's always going to be my box to stand on, so I get it. I'm fine with it. I just want to know.
I move for purchase a four-wheel drive pickup truck from Pearl Motor Company for the street department at $44,245.
Second.
Miller.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes. Okay, thank you. You had a long night.
He's still going.
He's not
wait,
finished.
one more.
Yeah, one more.
Oh, okay.
I'm finished listening to him, but he's not finished.
Okay. Staff report, I hadn't marked it off yet. Authorizing the purchase of collection system repair equipment from Key Equipment and Supply Company. Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, this is another purchase for wastewater department. Cover the details, Drew Williford.
And I am horribly excited about this particular one. So this has a lot of potential to it. This is the process that I had described before that we were beginning to evaluate, where you can conduct repairs from inside a sewer main. You can deploy a mechanism very similar to how a doctor would go into an artery and deploy a stent. You can deploy a mechanism inside. Let's say you've got an offset, or let's say you've got a crack in the sewer main or something that's occurred in the sewer right at a certain spot. They have about 1.5 foot sleeve that you push in, and then a pneumatic system expands it out, and it actually locks as it expands, and it seals that spot. So we now have an ability, if we end up having problems at multiple locations, and I can think of several where we could deploy this at, where we would no longer have to conduct an excavation in someone's front yard, backyard, in the street, any of that stuff. We can fix it underground and internal, and you can actually put these things together to do several. Part of all of this, though, includes purchase of an adapter system that will go on to the transporter unit. This, you may recall, you authorized purchase of a second one, which we have been using, and I appreciate that ability to have two of these units, because we do seem to have trouble with them from time to time, and we had to send one unit off to be fitted for a custom adapter that allows this to be used. So what we've looked into through Key Equipment and Supply Company of Bridgeton, Missouri, is purchasing the adapter, purchasing all of the other parts that are necessary to make this system of deployment work. And they provided that cost to us along with 3 sleeves for a total cost of $17,778.96. Now, that covers everything that's needed. There is a second part to this. We budgeted in the 24-25 budget $53,000. So that doesn't touch the budget in that regard. It cuts down a portion of it. We have another potential purchase from this fund, which would be for end caps on a sewer main, making sure that where we have lined something internally, you put an end cap on there to seal around the lining. So that's why you see the $53,000 budgeted, even though we only have the nearly $18,000 being proposed for purchase. So we approach Key Equipment as a sole source provider. The system also needs to be adapted. We are looking at all those costs combined, and we're excited to test this out. We've already seen the demo of it once. It worked. Still in place. So we're looking forward to moving forward with it. It does come with a 12-month warranty from delivery. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. We're looking at asking you to approve the purchase of this system, which is called a Quick Lock, from Key Equipment and Supply Company. And if you have any questions. Yes.
You said 3 sleeves, so I'm assuming we have to purchase more sleeves in the future, correct?
Correct. And sleeves are fairly expensive. It's not exactly cheap. They're in the $500 to $700 range.
So I'm assuming one sleeve fixes one repair.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You leave it in there, fixes the repair, and then you have to buy them per the size of the pipe. So an 8-inch pipe would have one type of sleeve. So on.
Cool.
I move that we approve the purchase of the quick lock spot repair system for the wastewater department at a cost of $17,778.96 with Key Equipment and Supply Company.
Second.
Miller?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Hay?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes. Okay, motion to pay the claims.
Make a motion to pay the bills?
Second.
Miller?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Hay?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Briggs?
All right, moving on, we have council comments next. Steve?
One thing, happy Veterans Day, and I hope the staff enjoyed their day off. And thank you to all the veterans out there. And we had a great Veterans Assembly at the school and honored some veterans that came. So always great to honor those that served. So.
Chris Williams.
I will ditto that, and gotta remember those guys, a lot of people gave their lives so we can be sitting up here doing what we're doing, so you gotta appreciate everything they did in this project they're talking about doing. I can't wait to see it come to fruition. I'd also like to say congrats to all of our student athletes that have finished up their football, baseball, or the football, softball, volleyball. We've had some recognition for a lot of those students in town, so appreciate them and their families supporting the school system. Speaking about, they were talking about history. Did we find anything else about the AP Green property? Speaking of history.
Yeah, there is McClure Engineering, which is working on a site plan for the owners. I don't know where that's at, Drew, at this point. Have you seen anything more?
Just today I did, they asked to speak with the contact from Ameren, begin looking at how power is going to feed the full premises there. That's all I know. They are working on a plat, site development plan.
We hope something's going to come of that.
And I just have, somebody might know, maybe you don't, we always talk about households. How many households are in the city limits of Mexico? Like, do we know? I mean, we may not
We
know.
go by sewer count.
Well, yeah, if we went by our, refuse count, we're about 4,400 on residential refuse, but yeah, one closer to 4,800 as far as sewer counts.
I was just curious because we were talking about how many households get served by different things. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Chris Miller.
Well, again, as you guys said, we need to thank the veterans, and glad we had a Veterans Celebration Day. But we have a veteran in this room that is almost an icon that we're going to miss, and so we thank you for your services, Marcy.
Thank you.
Trader.
She's a veteran.
Larry.
That's all I had to say.
Well,
I just agree with everybody about the veterans and the sports things. And Coach, I know you didn't have the end result you might like, but it had a pretty good season. Being Kirksville's an accomplishment.
Played well. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I don't think I have anything special. Mr. Schlager, I'm going to give you the time.
okay. Well, kind of to understand what you guys were saying, we have received notice that Marcy Lee Count is retiring. And she will be leaving us shortly, but retiring out into February, so.
Oh, we had to approve that. We have to approve it, don't we?
Yeah. We have a motion
I
to
already
approve.
tried not to, but I didn't seem to go very
I
well.
always thought to retire, you had to have done something.
I didn't say that, Marcy. I didn't say that. He did.
33 years of service for the city, so she's gonna be missed. But we have a new introduction also this evening. In the audience for the first time tonight, we have Gigi McAvery. She is our new Director of Economic Development, and welcome aboard, Gigi.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. And if I can say something,
Please.
you guys covered tonight, can I do that? I know you guys were talking about rails, and I just want to share that back in Boonville, we would have loved to have rails. I can't tell you how many requests come for rails, so I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but it's something to think about with these manufacturers coming back, that they do like to be rail served, and that is a request on the form, so whatever that's worth. But I'm excited to be here. So many people have been so nice, and your all's collaboration here and how I've never seen anything like it, so I'm excited to be here. And I was out at the airport today and learning about that, and Chad took me around to show me your beautiful parks, and something to be proud of. And I had a local realtor take me around your housing and look at some of the new construction. So excited to meet you guys, and excited to be here.
Well, coming from Boonville, do you have your spot picked out where our casino is going to go?
I don't know, Osage might be fighting you guys.
Okay, thank you, Gigi. Welcome to Mexico.
Thank you.
Glad to see you and have you here. Okay, one last thing on our agenda here, we have public comment. I know, you gotta remember the camera cannot show that, so. So if there's anybody, we're seeing nobody here, do I have a motion then?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you all.